Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Vivant's Wheels. Earlier this year, Maruti launched the highly anticipated Jimny, and it was the talk of the town for quite a while. However, the prices were slightly higher than what we enthusiasts had hoped for. So for a limited time period, Maruti has introduced the Thunder Edition variant of the Jimny, which brings in a significant price drop. And by that, I mean a full rupees 2 lakh cheaper for this Zeta variant. So does that make the Jimny a more justifiable buy now? Let's find out. At the front, you get the signature 5-slat Jimny grille, which many of its predecessors had as well. You also get this lovely bumper at the front, which I think looks great. And if you want to go the aftermarket route, I'm sure there are many other bumpers available as well. Now on this base Zeta variant, you get steel rims. Now the funny thing here is that I personally feel that these base steel rims look much better than the alloy rims the top spec Alpha variant gets. Now this is something I also believe about cars like the Defender, where the steelies actually look much more appealing to me than the higher spec alloy wheels. I love the design of these rims, and you also get a pretty tall 80 mm sidewall, which will help while off-roading. However, the Jimny from the factory only comes with highway terrain tires, which will limit the capability slightly. So if you're planning to take your Jimny off-roading seriously, I would recommend getting some all-terrain tires on. Part of the Thunder Edition package is this graphics that you get on the ORVM, which I think looks nice, as well as these mountain graphics across the side of the vehicle, which I like much more than I thought I would. I feel it goes pretty well with the grey paint shade on this particular example. In profile, the Jimny is a typical ladder-on-frame off-roading SUV. I also love the way these chunky wheel arches look. It adds to the utilitarian feel of the Jimny. Towards the back, I like the way this cladding gives it a much tougher feel. It almost makes it look like it's armored. I love the look of these exposed hinges as well. Again, a beautiful touch. And you also get an all-grip badge in which Maruti speak is 4-wheel drive. The Jimny gets a tail-mounted spare wheel, a necessity when you will be off-roading. It gets a horizontally opening tailgate, which is assisted, so it makes it easier while opening, and it reveals a 211-litre boot space, which I must say is quite impressive. I was in a Thar recently, and I remember that boot being significantly smaller than this. So I am quite happy with what Maruti has managed to get in terms of boot space. Now we are in the interior of the Jimny. Now first impressions when you get into this cabin is that it is meant for off-roading. There's no doubt about that when you get into the cabin. Now let's speak about the driving position. Not something I'll be particularly great at, but when I get in this car, it has the off-roader feel because of this upright windshield, this side glass which is rectangular and quite large in area. Also, another thing worth mentioning is that Maruti has managed to make the cabin feel quite spacious, considering it is quite a narrow vehicle. Let's start off with these seats. Now they are a little on the narrower side. I would have liked if it was a little wider, but then again, it's a narrow car, the seats would have to be narrow for them to fit here comfortably, along with all the mechanics, which we will come to in a bit. Next up, the steering wheel, and it is just meant to be a steering wheel. Nothing more than that. It's plastic, but it will last a lifetime. Here in the center, you get Maruti's 9-inch touchscreen infotainment system, below which you get physical knobs for all your aircon functions. And by that, I mean from where the air will blow on you, to the fan speed, to the temperature controls. Everything is physical buttons and knobs. Now the insane thing here is when I got into it and I was checking around the interior, I looked at these controls and just froze. Because what happened there is I realized that these are almost the same as Maruti used in the 2007 Swift. That was the car I spent the first few years of my life in, and I still remember these aircon controls, which are almost the same from that car. But they get the job done, so what else do you need? Now let's get into the more interesting stuff. Down here, you get the 4-wheel drive lever. No fancy stuff here, just pure mechanical control. You also get a physical handbrake, and considering this car is rear-wheel drive when it's not in four-wheel drive, and a physical handbrake means you should be able to drift this as well. Coming to the practicality on this car, I feel it could have been a little better. So you get a door handle here, which does feel amazing, I must say, but there's no storage here. There's a pad for your phone here, no wireless charging, but you can keep one phone in there. Two cup holders here, but no other form of storage. And the glove box is decently sized, however your documents will take up most of the space in there. That said, the headroom is incredible, and I think even a 6.5-foot person should be able to fit here. I have a lot of space still remaining. I'm 5'8" in height. Coming to the quality on the interior, I'd say it is where you'd expect it to be, and that is, it gets the job done. It doesn't feel too cheap in any area, but there's no fancy soft touch finishes and textures. You get plastic, and it's decent quality. But in my opinion, it should be a plus side if you own a Jimny, considering you could just wipe down any dirt after a good day at off-roading. As the passenger, you get this really robust feeling grab handle, which will be very useful when you're on a trail. And you also have these exposed screws. However, they're not actually exposed screws, they're just these rubber pieces. I love the way they add to the tough feel of the interior. Down here, I also noticed that you have illuminated tread plates, which are something like you would get in a Rolls-Royce, and it says Jimny. Now we are in the back seat of the Jimny. Now, as you might see, it is a little tight on space. I'm 5'8" in height, and my knees are almost up next to the seat, which is again set to the driving position of a driver of about 5'8" of height. Footroom is tight as well, and I don't have much space to move my feet around. And it is strictly a four-seater because the transmission tunnel is high with all the four-wheel drive mechanics that go into it, and it is quite narrow at the back. But I should be okay for most trips, shouldn't be a problem, because the glass area is quite big, and the seat also gets a recline feature. So this is the most upright position, which is a little bit too upright for my liking. However, I can pull this lever and push it back. And now this is a significantly more comfortable position to be in. So overall, it's a decent back seat which will carry two passengers comfortably around. Now let's talk about the engine and gearbox options that you get with the Jimny. So the only engine you get is a naturally aspirated 1.5 litre petrol motor, which produces 105 horsepower and 134 Nm of torque. Now you have the option of two gearboxes. The first one is a 4-speed automatic transmission, and the second one is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now from what I've heard, performance is not the Jimny's forte. If you want more performance, I'll say you can slap on a turbo to this engine. And also, looking at the engine bay, there is quite a bit of space still left. So in the coming months and years, I would love to see some adventurous projects with the Jimny, putting in bigger engines, turbos, air intakes. That would be pretty cool. The price of this particular variant of the Jimny is 10.74 lakh rupees ex-showroom India. Now with the taxes in Goa, it brings that to about 13 lakh rupees on road. And with the Alpha variant, the Thunder edition, which sees a 1 lakh rupee price drop, that comes in at about 15 lakh on road, a little over 15 lakh. Now coming back to the question we asked at the start, does the price drop make the Jimny a more justifiable buy now? The short answer to that is yes, definitely. The Jimny has always been an incredible off-roader, and the price drop makes it an even more appealing buy for someone who is willing to take the plunge. The Jimny is also a great lifestyle product. It has a comfortable interior for 4, a decent engine with an automatic transmission which will do the job for the daily commute, and looks that will make most people turn their head twice. The Jimny is that car which you buy with your heart and not your head. It's a car that will make you smile, which something like a compact SUV or a hatchback will not, and that's what everyone is going for nowadays. It's that car which will tug at your heartstrings, and that's the reason you will buy it over anything else. If you like this video, Please don't forget to smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel, and click on the bell icon to never miss any of my new uploads.